Everything has changed, for me at least, with,
you were telling me about this.
with
Shocked.
Prince's death. I am shocked by the news that came out of Minnesota this morning. The Carver County attorney, Mark Metz, held a news conference to discuss the findings of their investigation. It's been almost 2 years to the day since Prince died. We know that he died of an overdose of fentanyl.
Right.
The question was, would they criminally charge anyone, find a doctor, sort of a Conrad Murray in the Michael Jackson case, someone who's responsible for giving Prince these drugs. Here's what Mark Metz says. The headline is no criminal charges, but then there was something more shocking he said. Take a listen.
The evidence suggests that Prince took counterfeit Vicodin containing fentanyl on or about April 21, 2016. Despite the intensive law enforcement investigation, there is no reliable evidence showing how Prince obtained the counterfeit Vicodin laced with fentanyl, or who else may have had a role in delivering the counterfeit Vicodin to Prince. Therefore, without probable cause and no identified suspect, the Carver County Attorney's Office cannot file any criminal charges involving the death of Prince.
So, of course, Charles, you got to think right away, well, wait a minute, I thought there was the doctor there. That was Dr. Michael Schulenberg. But it was announced that Schulenberg only prescribed Percocet to Prince, and that was not what killed him. It was this Vicodin that was laced with fentanyl. Yeah,
right.
Correct.
So, I mean, and the point where he says that it's likely that Prince had no idea he was even taking fentanyl. Remember, the toxicology report came out, and it said that he died of an extremely high level of fentanyl.
Right.
Like,
because he might have been unaware that he was ingesting it.
yeah, even they said that the level of fentanyl that was in his body was extremely odd, even for someone who had chronic pain like Prince did. You just wouldn't find that much fentanyl. You wouldn't take that much.
Well, where do you get counterfeit Vicodin from?
Well, that's the problem, and that's what they're saying. The prosecutors are saying they can't find the person that he got this from, and they said they checked all of his electronic records, they checked emails, they checked phone records. They said that part of the problem was that Prince was so private that there wouldn't be. They wouldn't find any record of who he had contacted.
No, so Prince was procuring this stuff himself personally. There wasn't.
Right, guys, remember? I mean, you remember 2 weeks prior to this, you know, he OD'd, had to land a plane, had to give him 2 shots of Narcan to bring him back. I mean, he's got a history of this. It's really hard to track back.
Well, that actually, Dennis, they actually said also about that overdose. Remember, we broke the story 6 days before Prince died. They had an emergency landing in Illinois where he overdosed, and they said that it's likely that he also took one of these counterfeit Vicodin when he was on the plane, and that may have caused the overdose then as well. So they're saying that he would have no idea that this fentanyl was in there, which essentially means that this is a manslaughter. If he didn't know that he was taking fentanyl, somebody laced the pills with fentanyl, there's a manslaughter, and it's unsolved because they can't find the person, to this point anyway.
You guys, you know, the DEA has been coming out a lot since this happened, a lot saying how dangerous this drug is. And this is not, I mean, this is so common these days now that people are ODing, especially on the fentanyl, and where it comes from on the street and it's what it's cut with and mixed. It's really hard to backtrack where it came from.
They made that point also that, you know, as part of this, the opioid epidemic that is sweeping the country, this is the problem. If you buy something and you have no idea, it's one thing if you get it prescribed.
Yeah, you know, I get that Prince was a private person. I know that he was very meticulous in the way that his life was presented and sort of covered. But you would think that at some point a guy of that stature wouldn't be the actual dude who would be going out and getting his prescriptions, picking up drugs for himself, that somebody would know in his inner circle where he was getting this from. Maybe an assistant, maybe a relative, maybe somebody else would know how Prince went about doing this, or a driver or someone. So
the other thing they announced had to do with one of Prince's bodyguards, the Dr. Schulenberger, Brad, that you were talking about. The prescription that he had written for Prince for Percocet was actually written in the name of one of Prince's bodyguards, Kirk Johnson.
Yeah, it was written out, and they said there that they have come to some sort of civil settlement with Dr. Schulenberg, so he doesn't walk away from this thing just scot-free. I mean, he's going to face the consequences of those actions as well.
He ended up paying, they settled with him, the announcement they made, he ended up paying a $30,000 fine. That's essentially just for writing a prescription for someone, you know, using a fake name, essentially, is what using a pseudonym for a prescription. But as far as who actually gave Prince this Vicodin, that's unsolved, and to me is tragic. And And it changes. Here's how it changes the story for me, because for 2 years we believed that Prince was an addict, and clearly he was. And in fact, they talked about that even Dr. Schulenberg and another doctor had met with him to talk about his addiction. But it's one thing if he's an addict and he took fentanyl, then he made that choice.
Right.
But if he didn't make the choice to take fentanyl, he just thought he was taking Vicodin, which is way, way less powerful than fentanyl.
Yeah.
Then this is a different story. He didn't choose to die.
Right. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Brown, Miami, Florida. One thing I would say is that weeks before Prince's death, actually, he had written 50 handwritten manuscripts to go out in a book that is to be released at the end of 2018. So I'm looking forward to seeing what someone who with such a private life, what they have to say in a book like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't know that the release date was going to be 2018. I know that he had written those things, but I'm sure the family and the estate will make sure it gets out when he wanted it out. But yeah, that's, I don't know, really shook me.
Listen, I get it. Just to know that he wasn't making the conscious decision to take this super powerful and very dangerous drug, it makes you feel the loss even heavier. You know?